Hey guys, welcome to my first YouTube video after nearly 2 years of posting my first video. In this video, we're going to talk about how to retire early. Ever wondered how much money do you really need to retire? I'm talking about quitting your job and doing nothing. Maybe enjoying the prime time of your life in a beach somewhere, basking in the sun, drinking margaritas while your friends are still, stuck in the monotonous 9 to 5 job. But you found a way to get out of it. You found a way to retire while your friends are just starting to figure out their lives. How did you do it? Well, you got fired. Well, gone are the days where we worked and slog our asses off for 10 to 12 hours a day and worked till 60. Most people did that because we never really understood how much money we need. See, I did a Twitter poll recently asking people how much money do they need to retire. Not a single answer said a number below 10 crores. So in this video, I'm actually going to blow your mind as to how much money you actually need to retire. So the most popular way of doing this is FIRE, which means financial independence, retire early. So it's a movement which started in the US about 3 decades back when Vicky Robin and Joe Dominguez mentioned in their best-selling book, Your Money or Your Life. Simply put, FIRE is a way of accumulating enough money such that when this money is invested in the right places, it generates additional income, which is your yearly expenses. In fact, Joe Dominguez achieved FIRE at the age of 31 and never had to work for money ever again. Ask yourself, you must be a 20-year-old or 30-year-old chap. Are you able to say this at the age of 31 or 41 that you never have to work for money ever again and just sit at home and watch Netflix all day? So now that you know what FIRE is, it's all about understanding what your FIRE number is. Now over the years, there have been different types of FIRE number. There's normal FIRE, lean FIRE, fat FIRE, coarse FIRE. Let's just talk about the most important types of FIRE, starting with lean FIRE. So lean FIRE, simply put, is your annual expenses multiplied by 20. For example, let's say I spend around 50,000 per month, which is 6 lakhs a year. If you multiply that by 20, it's around 1.2 crores. So if I have 1.2 crores today, I can actually call myself to have lean FIRE. But Sharan, 1.2 crores right now? Kya phuk kya hai be? Not all of us are crorepati's. Okay, so what if I assume 40 years at the age which you achieve lean FIRE? Pretty good, right? You don't have to work till 60 at least. Now let's do the math for that. So I've built this Excel tool which you can use for calculating your FIRE number. You want access to this Excel tool? It's a part of my one-person finance club, link in bio. So let's assume my current age is 27, which it is, and then I spend around 50,000 per month. 50,000 per month is 6 lakhs a year. But if I adjust it for inflation at the age of 40, which is when I want to achieve my financial independence, that's about 11.3 lakhs in annual expenses per year. So that takes my lean FIRE number to 2.3 crores. Now I know what you must be thinking. Sharan, kya phuk kya hai abbe? You just increased it from 1.2 crores to 2.3 crores. What the hell? So let's assume that you need to achieve 2.3 crores in the next 13 years. The math says that you need to invest about 42,000 rupees per month to achieve 2.3 crores at the age of 40. And let's assume that the returns that you can get over a 13-year period is around 11% post-tax, which is very, very achievable, right? And let's also assume that you increase your investment by 10% every year. The math says that you just need to invest around 42,000 rupees per month to reach 2.3 crores at the age of 40. So now once you achieve this lean FIRE number, you're in a very comfortable state in life. No, you can't just sit and party all day and watch Netflix all day and do nothing. You still have to work for a living, but just to cover your monthly expenses. You don't have to think about actively investing this money for your retirement because your retirement corpus is set. So what does this mean for you? Let's say you have 2 job offers. One is offering 18 lakhs per annum, another one is offering 12 lakhs per annum. Now you know that the job which is 12 lakhs per annum is going to make you much more happier. So if you have achieved this lean FIRE state, you can actually pick that 12 lakh per annum job, and it could be anything, right? Let's say cooking is your passion, or being a mountain guide is your passion, right? So you can choose these kind of jobs even though it pays lesser because you have achieved financial independence. Achieving lean FIRE allows you to take this sort of risks without worrying about money. How great of a life could it be if everybody could live like this? But what are most of you guys doing? Once you hit 29 or 30, you're gonna get married, you're gonna have kids, and then your parents are gonna say, get your own home. Now, home prices in India have been skyrocketing. Let's consider Bangalore and Mumbai for example. The bare minimum of 3 BHK apartment in a very average neighborhood would cost you anywhere from 80 lakhs to 1 crore. This is the bare minimum, guys. And the EMI for this sort of a house comes up to 80,000 rupees per month because interest rates are so high right now. Now ask yourself, if 80,000 rupees per month is going out of your account for paying this home loan EMIs, where is the money left for achieving financial independence? So it's a simple decision that you have to make. Whether you want to buy a house and call it like this is my house, or whether you want to invest for your future self to achieve financial independence so that you can live a life of carefree and focus on the things that you want to focus on without thinking about money. Now, the next type of FIRE number is the normal FIRE number, which is simply 25 times your annual expenses. Now, why 25? So there was this research conducted by Trinity College, and what they found out was that if you have saved 25 times your annual expenses, and if you withdraw like let's say 4% from this every year, this corpus will last for anywhere between 30 to 40 years. For example, let's say I spend around 50,000 a month, which is 6 lakhs a year. Now if I multiply that by 25, that's 1.5 CR. So if I have 1.5 CR with me, I can actually call myself fired. So the last type of FIRE number is the fat FIRE number. As the name suggests, it's a very, very big number. So according to fat FIRE, you actually need to have around 50 times your annual expenses. Once you have this ginormous number, you can spend more money than you usually spend. You'll also have enough money left over to pass on to your kids. So if you want to actually make so much money that you will not have enough time to spend it and then pass on to your kids, then fat FIRE is the way to go. But if you ask me, Sharan, what number should I pick? I would personally go with the normal FIRE number. I mean, why do you want to live for your kids, man? Let them figure it out by themselves. Just give them education, send them to college. You focus on your financial independence number, and that should be more than enough. So now we are in the most important part of the video, how to actually achieve your FIRE number. So you know what type of FIRE you want. You know what that number is. But how do we actually get there? So there are 3 pillars of achieving FIRE. Number 1 is to increase your income. You don't say, Sharan. You're telling me that if I make more money, I can achieve FIRE faster? I'm not going to bore you with, go to your boss and ask him for a hike, get a better paying job, or start a side gig, or structure your salary better for tax savings. You already know all of that, so I'm not going to bore you with that. The second pillar of reaching FIRE is to increase your savings. Have you heard of that 50-30-20 rule? Well, I hate this rule. Because if you follow this rule blindly, you're going to spend a lot more money than you need. Just keep it simple. Predict what monthly expenses you will have. Make a budget and follow that. And you don't need to just increase your expenditure just because the rule is saying so. So you make your monthly budget, spend that money, and the balance amount you will invest it in the beginning of every month. And that brings us to the third pillar, which is investing. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. The stock market is not doing that great right now. Everybody is predicting a doomsday, and FDs have kind of risen up from the ashes and offering 8% interest rate. So I'm seeing people all around me, people of all age groups, rushing towards banks to put their money for 3-year, 4-year, 5-year lock-in FDs so that they get those higher interest rates. But that is the worst thing that you can do. Just check out this graph over here. See the number of times the inflation rate is crossing the FD interest rates. See, when interest rates are increasing, it's because the inflation is already high, right? So even if the banks are offering 8% FD, it is still not going to be able to beat inflation, which is around 7 to 8% right now. And to make matters worse, FDs are taxed the worst possible way. Let's say you're in the 30% income bracket. Every year, 30% of your FD returns will be sucked out and paid to the government. So even if it's like an 8% FD, which is like the best case scenario, your effective returns would be like 5.6%. Now you tell me, is that enough to achieve your FIRE number? Absolutely not. Now don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that you should never invest in FD, but it is meant for a different reason. It's meant for maybe like a 1-year goal or a 2-year goal, not for your retirement planning. For your retirement planning, this is what you need to do. Asset allocation, which is knowing how much money to put in equity, debt, gold, and other asset classes, is the most important thing when it comes to achieving your FIRE number. What is equity? Equity is nothing but investing in the stock market, buying the shares of a company so that you are also a part owner of that company. That is what the stock market is. Second is debt, which could be fixed deposits, it could be debt funds, it could be investing in bonds, and so on. And gold, it could be jewelry, investing in SGBs, investing in gold bonds, and so on. So now knowing how much money to put in each of these asset classes is the most important thing when it comes to achieving FIRE. So now you might ask me, Sharan, equity is the best performing asset class. It has given us around 14% CAGR over the past 30 years. Why not put all my money in equity? Here's why you should not do it. One word. Drawdown. So drawdown is defined as the maximum dip in the value of your investment in any given year. For example, in 2008, the Nifty, which is the aggregate of the Indian stock market, fell by nearly 59%. Now you might tell me, Sharan, it eventually recovered and we still had 14% CAGR. But answer me honestly, if you were in 2007 or 2008 and saw almost 60% drop in the value of your investment, let's say you had saved about 1 crore, you had invested 100% in equity and it dropped to 40 lakhs, would you be having a good night's sleep? I don't think so. So investing is not about making the most amount of money. No. Investing is about knowing where to put your money across the various asset classes so you have a good night's sleep. Just ask yourself, what is this money for? We are not in the game of increasing our bank account number. No, we are in the game of using this money to live our life. Maybe it could be to purchase a house. It could be to pay for our kids' education, going for vacation. That is what the money is for. But if you spend the next 20 years where 100% of your money is in equity, where you're in constant stress of the ups and downs in the market, do you call that as a good life? Not me. So I would advise everybody not to put 100% equity, even if the historical returns of equity has told us that it is giving us 14% CAGR, because it's not worth the mental stress of living like that for the next 20 years. So now the next question that you might have is, how do I actually divide this money across the various asset classes that I just talked about? Earlier in this video, we talked about the lean FIRE number, and we deduced that I need to save around 42,000 rupees per month to achieve my lean FIRE number, which is around 2.3 crores at the age of 40. So this is how I would allocate this money across the various asset classes. So 60% would go into domestic equity, which is the Indian stock market. 10% would go into US equity. I primarily invest in the S&P 500 ETF, which is like the Nifty of the US market. Another 15% would go into debt, which could be fixed deposits and debt mutual funds. 5% would go into gold, which could be sovereign gold bonds and gold mutual funds. Another 5% would go into crypto, and the last 5% would go into real estate, primarily commercial real estate properties. But if you can't afford it, you can go into REITs, which is Real Estate Investment Trust, which is like a mutual fund for commercial properties. So the next step is sub-asset allocation, which is knowing how to divide your money within each of these asset classes. Now, luckily, you only need to do this for primarily equity, because that's the biggest part of your portfolio. Around 60% of your money is going into domestic equity. So within domestic equity, there is large cap funds, mid cap funds, small cap funds. So how to know how to divide your money across these sub assets? So this is how I do it. Within the 60% domestic equity, around 40% of your money is going into index funds of large cap companies. Another 40% is going into actively managed mid-cap funds, and the last 20% is going to actively manage small-cap funds. Next step you need to do is rebalance your portfolio every 6 months to 1 year, because the markets are not moving in a straight line. Neither is gold, neither is crypto, neither is real estate. Every year the numbers change. So how do you bring back your allocation to these percentages that we just talked about? So to do that, every 6 months to 1 year, you need to move around your money. So what have we learned so far? We've understood what are the different types of FIRE. You know what your FIRE number is. You know how much money you need to invest per month to reach that FIRE number. You know where to invest that money across the various asset classes. And we also learned about how to rebalance this money across the various asset classes every 6 months to 12 months. Now, this last bit is where it gets tricky, because if you don't have a proper system or a proper methodology for doing this rebalancing, your entire investing process goes for a toss. So that is exactly why I've built this next level tool. I call it the Master Financial Planner tool. It's something that I have built by talking to financial planners and wealth managers over the past 1 year. And this is a tool which is so easy to use that even a 10th standard pass student can use it. So what does this tool exactly allow you to do? We just talked about one financial goal, that is retirement planning. So now doing the asset allocation for just that one goal may be easy. But what about the other goals that we have in life? Maybe buying a home, buying a car, saving up for our kids' education, kids' marriage, vacation. So each of these different goals will have a different asset allocation in place depending on when you want to use that money, right? So this tool allows you to input all of those financial goals and tells you exactly when you need to move your money around. So So now this tool, the Master Financial Planner tool, is a part of my 1% finance club. The link is down in the description below, which is essentially like a 20-hour kick-ass program which will help you take your financial planning to the next level. And it also comes with the community access. I call it the Freedom Cult. It's an app which is there on the Play Store and the App Store, which allows you to interact with close to 6,000 people on any financial queries that you have, and every single time of the day. Now, if you watch this video for so long, you might still be wondering, Sharan, why do I have to care about retirement right now? I'm just a 20-year-old kid who is looking to party and have fun in life. So a lot of us think that 20s being the prime years of our life is meant to be YOLO. That is, you live only once. So we think that we should party and have enough fun as possible. But we're also incorrectly assuming that our life ends in our 20s. So if you only focus on partying and having fun in your 20s, it's going to get very, very difficult as you grow older. So to make your life easier, not only in your 20s, but also in your 30s, 40s and 50s, you need to learn how to discipline yourself early on. You need to learn how to make budgets, how to make worksheets, and how to effectively manage your money so you can achieve all your financial goals. Sure, you can do this yourself, but I have an easier solution. You can join me and 7,000 other people in the 1% Finance Club, where you get access to all the tools to help you retire early. I'll see you in the next video.